Friend, this will be a Love Crusade for Christ. My name is George Glenn, Brother George Glenn, and today is Sunday, the 17th of December 2017, and we're going to go into part 6, in the beginning, how God created the heavens and the earth, my friend. And we've been in Genesis chapter 1, and we've worked our way down to Genesis chapter 1 and verse 8. And verse 8 says, "And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the first day," my friend. So God has created a firmament, my friend. And God said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. So my friend, you see here, this is the firmament, is the atmosphere. This is our atmosphere that surrounds the earth, my friend. This is the atmosphere, the air we breathe, my friend. When we look up into the sky, from here out to the blue sky, my friend, is the atmosphere. And above, inside the atmosphere, my friend, will be air, my friend. It contains the air and the clouds. The clouds of water are outside the atmosphere. The atmosphere, or the air, the clouds are outside of this, and then outside of that will be the dark universe, my friend. And so you have the atmosphere, the clouds full of water, then you have on out there, you have the universe, my friend, that goes on and on and on and on. And my friend, if we read over in, we'll turn to 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 2 through 4, it says, this is the Apostle Paul talking about what heaven is like, my friend. It says, Paul says, "I knew a man," in verse 2, 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 2. He said, Paul said, "I knew a man in Christ above 14 years ago, whether in the body I cannot tell, or whether out of the body I cannot tell. God knows. But such a man, or such a one, was caught up to the third heaven." And then he says in verse 4, he says, "How that he was caught up into paradise." So the third heaven is paradise. "And he heard unspeakable words which were not lawful to utter." My friend. So there are three heavens, my friend. When we look up from the earth and we look up to the sky and we see the blue sky, my friend, this is the atmosphere. This is the blue sky that surrounds the earth, my friend. And out past that, my friend, is darkness. Out past the blue sky, God separated the darkness from the light. The light is within our atmosphere, and within the air. This part of the atmosphere is the light in the air. But outside of that is the darkness. So God separated that, and the universe out past here will be the stars and the planets and on out. But of course, it was just darkness out there until God put the planets out there, my friend. But then out past the planets, out past the galaxies, out past our solar system and all the other galaxies in the solar system, my friend, out past that would be the God's place called heaven, the heaven of heavens, which is will be God's throne room. So you have heaven where God is, and then you have separated from God by trillions and trillions of light years of space and time, and the universe would be, we're separated from them. That would be the second heaven. God is in the third heaven. The universe around us is the second heaven, and inside our atmosphere here, as we look up at the blue sky, this will be the first heaven. So it says, "And God called the firmament heaven," in verse 8. That's the atmosphere, called the firmament heaven. That's the first heaven. "And the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, Let the waters," verse 9, "let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." So my friend, after he made the atmosphere around where the earth would be, my friend, first of all, he filled that atmosphere was full of water. And then God said, "Let the dry land appear." So the dry land came up out of the water. The land, God created, He created the dry land, He created the seas, He created the dry land, He created the atmosphere, and He created the universe, the second heaven and the third heaven where He is, my friend. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land, He called earth. So God named the land. He named the land earth. And the gathering together in verse 10 of the waters called He seas. And this is the seas, the oceans and the seas and the land that God created, my friend. In verse 11, God goes on and He says, and let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed. So the first thing God did after He created, in the creation of the world, is He put an atmosphere around the earth. Then He gathered together all the waters here into seas. And the atmosphere contains the waters above the earth, and this is the waters below the atmosphere, my friend. On the earth, this is the seas and the oceans. And then He said, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. My friend, we'll go down to verse 10. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of waters called He seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass. So after God created the earth, my friend, and separated the dry land from the waters, He said, let it bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit, after His kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. My friend, we're going to end here with this verse 10 and 11. We're going to end with this study today.